Let me take you on a journey into the future of sustainable construction. You see, I believe that every problem can be a stepping stone to a solution. Hello there, we are Hourn Technology working on a game-changing innovation, the semi-calcite passive brick. So I start with the waste material, shell, glass and plastic can be found across Southeast Asia region and globally. And thought, what if we could turn them into something extraordinary? And we just did that. The semi-calcite passive brick isn't just a brick, it's a revolutionary in thermal efficiency. It keeps space comfortable, naturally regulating temperature without the need of excessive energy use. Our innovation isn't just about technology, it's about making a tangible impact and replicatable solution. For homeowner, it means a cozier, more energy efficient space, but for builder, it's about a cost-effective construction that's eco-friendly. We didn't stop there. We embraced the circular economy, bringing a new life into a discard material and reducing our environmental footprints.
How to create energy resilience and sustainable communities in Indonesia's rural.
We want to provide affordable renewables for developing communities.
Electricity in Indonesia is mainly produced by non-renewable resources. This issue can lead us to worsen climate change. Also, running MSMEs in villages is not balanced with our national capital.
Alat yang berhasil diciptakan sekelompok anak muda 360 Energy yang memiliki inovasi dan menginspirasi dalam mengembangkan ekonomi pedesaan ini diterapkan.
Our product is a gravitational wide vortex permanent, where excess power can be stored in our car slag and sold to balance with an efficiency of up to 80%. Investing in our technology is avoiding the emission. Our pilot project resides in Cikurodong, Sukabumi, generates 2 kilowatts of electricity. Our business is a sustainable yet profitable one, clean and reliable energy with 360 energy. And our mission through #Bluing the Earth, aiming to revolutionize the way we live with nature and ocean. So hello everyone, my name is Julia Ratnasari and I am one of the founder of Carbon Bureau. Carbon Bureau, or Blue Carbon in English, is a youth-led initiative focusing on biological carbon capture and sequestration, wastewater treatment, and natural coastal protection through blue forest, afforestation, and reforestation. Blue trees is mangroves, and mangroves can store more than 5 times more carbon compared to the ordinary green trees. And its dense roots able to dissipate wave and protect the society and wildlife from the tsunami and erosion. This year, in 2022, we have planted 3,345 mangroves and keep on counting. And we also have gathered for 56 volunteers across Indonesia.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm seeing some people from the Philippines. Magandang hapon po. I see Laos, Brunei, Timor-Leste. Wow, so many people joining us virtually. Welcome to the 10th EU-ASEAN Youth Talk Show. My name is Quincy Deneve, and it is an honor to be here with you guys this afternoon virtually. Hello, Randy from Indonesia. Hi. Okay, so for the next 90 minutes, I will be your moderator, and I'm so excited to be sharing the screen with the Ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN, His Excellency Sujiro Sim, and also the Political Officer of the Delegation of the European Union to ASEAN. We have here Miss Katrina Lobo. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming His Excellency Sujiro Sim by sharing the clapping hands emoji. You can tap the clapping hands emoji. Show some love. Hello, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon, Quincy, and good afternoon,
Hi.
everyone across the ASEAN region.
How are you, Mr. Ambassador? Do you have some opening remarks to share?
That's why I'm here, I believe. So I'm Sujiro Sim. I'm the ambassador of the European Union to ASEAN. I started in this position on the 1st of September, but it's already the second youth talk show I have the pleasure of attending. I leave you in good hands with Quincy, our moderator, and with my colleague Katerina, who will act also as a hostess. I just wanted at the outset to welcome all the attendees from all the member states of ASEAN. It's extremely important for me and for the European Union to engage with the youth in the ASEAN region. And this is the reason why we recently launched this initiative to constitute a youth sounding board for the European Union in ASEAN. It replicates a mechanism which has been tested already worldwide in Brussels. So now the 145 delegations of the European Union around the world, including the delegation of the European Union to ASEAN, is mirroring that initiative so that we have a better platform to engage with the youth in our region, to consult them on what the priorities should be, and also to associate them to the implementation of our strategic partnership between the European Union and ASEAN. Joining us today on this youth talk show dedicated to innovation and creativity, we have some of the winners of the Youth Sustainable Project in ASEAN, which is a project where we had 152 competitors on sustainability projects. And you will hear from two of the winners on creativity and innovation. Also, I just want to share with you, as in my introductory remarks, that we have several other opportunities to support the youth or innovation and creativity. I will just name two here. One of them is our Erasmus Plus program, which is the European Region Action Scheme for the mobility of university students around the world. So if you have questions coming up in the course of this webinar about Erasmus Plus, do not hesitate. This project really provides great opportunities for student mobility for those of you who are in ASEAN, but also for those of you who are in Europe and want to study in ASEAN. So please do not hesitate to ask. And the other project I would like to mention is more targeted towards innovation and research, and it's Horizon Europe, the multi-billion euros project for the European Union, which funds research projects around the world. So it's also a good platform for you to conduct research, which leads in turn to creativity and innovation. I would just stop here because the purpose of this talk show is not for me to speak to you forever, but really to allow you to hear from innovators, young innovators this time, so that they can use this talk show as a platform to share their experience, to connect, and maybe inspire some of you to follow their footsteps. Just in closing, don't hesitate to follow me on my social media account if you want to be up to date on the strategic partnership between the European Union and ASEAN. I have an X account, which is formerly known as Twitter, but also a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and a LinkedIn account. So don't forget to follow me, and hopefully you have a very good session today, and I'll be happy to join you next time as well. Thank you very much, Quincy. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It is such an honor to have your presence today. So guys, before we continue, we will have two photo sessions before we begin. For the first one, I would like to ask Ambassador Mr. Sujiro Sim, the host as well, Ms. Katrina Lopo, and also all the speakers to turn on their cameras for our first photo session. So, are we ready? I guess we're all ready. All right, give your best smile, everyone, in 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then the second photo session, I am inviting all the speakers to keep your cameras on. All right, are you guys ready? Kolatat and also Yulia. In 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you, everyone. And once again, thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for the opening remarks today. Hello there, Miss Katrina.
Hello. How are you,
Hi,
Quincy? Hi, hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
I'm good. How are you? Where are you now, Katrina?
I am in Jakarta. Our EU delegation is based in Jakarta. I am very well, and I'm really looking forward to meet you, all of our winners, and also all the youth from ASEAN, the innovators of the future, or the current innovators. So happy to be here with you today. Thank you.
Likewise. So, everyone, I was a former radio announcer, and I can tell you there's nothing quite as exciting as hearing fresh ideas. And speaking of fresh ideas, today's topic is bursting with them. And we'll be diving into the world of ASEAN youth, creativity, and also innovation. So, Katrina, would you please introduce our youth speakers of the day to the audience?
Course. Thank you, Quincy. Sure. All three of our youth speakers today are the winners of the annual Youth Sustainable Project Competition. And the first one is Mr. Kolatat Haibunukulki. Sorry for the... he's the CEO of the Pitavaran Technology from Thailand. Hello, Kolatat. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Can you briefly say a few words about yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. Would
And
be
how are you?
lovely to do that. So my name is Glatat. So I'm a CEO at Hourn Technology. So what we're doing is we're developing a thermal brick and also interlocking brick to tackling the challenge of thermal efficiency across the world, as well as we have our office space in Bangkok, and we addressing our client and also our partner to promote more sustainable, practical construction practices across the industry.
Thank you so much, Kolatat. If I may go then to our next speaker, it's from Indonesia and has been working on the renewable energy sector with his 360 Energy Initiative, Mr. Kemal Rifki. Hello, Kemal. How are you? Can you say a few words about yourself and your initiative?
Is Kemal here already or not yet? Okay, so Kemal is running a bit late, Katrina, so I think we can go with Julia first.
Julia, yes. So I would like to then invite Julia. Julia Ratnasari came with her Blue Carbon Initiative. Hello, Julia. Welcome to the EU-ASEAN Youth Talk Show. How are you today?
Hi, Katrina. I'm good as always. And who are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Would you like to say something more for introduction?
Oh, yeah. Yes. So I'm Julia Ratnasari. I'm also an Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Degree alumni. I'm studying circular economy, or Circle, in Netherlands, Austria, and China. It was such an amazing experience. After studying, I got inspiration to create Carbon Biru, or blue carbon in English, that is focusing on coastal area to build forests and capture carbons. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having you with us today.
All right, thank you, Katrina, and thank you, Kolata. Thank you, Julia. Nice to meet you virtually here. While we wait for Kemal to join us, I would like to welcome everyone once again. It's so good to have you all and to see you all healthy and happy this afternoon. Perhaps we can hear a little bit about your initiatives first. Maybe we can start with Julia, since you have just finished drinking your water. Time is yours, Julia.
Thank you, Quincy.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, like, our initiative started with a notion, because there is a notion that conservation and economic growth usually is a trade-off. So Carbon Bureau was born to challenge that notion by planting trees. And what we plan is not just the ordinary green trees, but we plant mangroves or blue trees that can sequester or capture 10 times more carbon than the ordinary green trees. So besides offering carbon offsetting that grows over time, we also try to showcase a silvophysery, or it's a practice by coupling aquaculture with mangroves. And then we also recycle nutrients such as phosphorus and nitrogen. Therefore, we can protect the society from or erosions and tsunami. So isn't that amazing? Like one single trees can provide those kind of benefits from economical, social, and environmental. Yeah, that's all.
That sounds interesting, Julia. Thank you so much. To be honest, I don't know much about peatlands, but definitely looking forward to learning more from you. And as much as the audience, of course. So guys, the audience, if you are here, if you are listening, if you are also familiar with peatlands in your country, let us know in the comment section. All right. So Katrina, back to you. I think you.
Yes. I would also just perhaps say that, of course, the peatlands, and I really like Julia's project because mangrove is one area. Excuse me, can you hear me or not?
Yes, we can hear you
mangrove
clearly.
is one area. Excuse me, you cannot hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. All good.
Yes.
Yes, very well.
So mangrove is one area in Jakarta, for example, where I like to go for the weekends. So I really believe that this is very important to go actually back to the roots, back to the nature, especially in a mega city like Jakarta and other cities, I would say, in Southeast Asia, and to create more nature and actually natural habitat that can also preserve the climate and even people. As you say, it can protect us from tsunami. So really happy to hear that we will have more mangrove, hopefully soon, around Jakarta and other large cities. I think on my next list, I would like to ask now Kolatat if he could tell us something more about his semi-calcite passive brick. Is there anything that you have noticed or would you like to change with your innovation?
Something that how we get started with this, probably like there's a wrong pivotal journey because before we working on interlocking semi-calcite passive brick, we worked on another project before that's relatively similar, but also in the same industry. But after, because I have worked previously for Schneider Electric and so the Crown working on sustainable retrofitting and also asset management before. So there's some really interesting trend in the construction market. It's called like the building energy solution. So right now what we tackle is if we want to reach the goal of 2050, there's a several target that we want to meet, especially when it comes to net zero and it comes to efficiency. So energy efficiency is very important part to that. So also like, okay, at the very same time, we are work on climate action. We also work on circular economy or sustainable city, but at the very same time, we're working to tackle a larger scale problem, that is the energy efficiency. So I work in building sustainable solution, and also I get my co-founder who work on board on this to developing this innovation to be a researcher, and as well as a passive house designer who is architect as well. So there's a lot of things that we definitely want to change when it comes to several areas that we could improve our design. But during all the journey that we have achieved during the time, we have achieved the point that, okay, we received a certain design and the thermal efficiency result, and then we start publicize our work, and as well as pushing the research and also manufacturing. And now we start having projects working on that. So definitely, if the only thing that we want to change is we probably want to be faster, but there are always the process that might have to be a slow journey, especially in the area of patent. So intellectual property is very important, especially if you want raising investment, as well as you want to publicize our work or research and development. So it's quite very key pivotal role. But I would say I probably wouldn't focus too much on the patent side, but rather on the product development if I could slow down in that area.
That's very cool. Thank you, Kolatat. All right, so Katrina, all of our two speakers today, they have a really great initiative, and this is really in line with what we're discussing today about youth creativity and innovation.
That's right, Quincy. And as already Ambassador mentioned, the EU has been a big supporter of youth. We believe in the youth as the holder for the future and also the power to make changes for the future and for today and for the future. The EU has a youth strategy and wants actually to engage young people and empower them to become active citizens that are involved in their societies, that are actually agents of change that can make things happen. And we have several action plans and also this youth strategy that can help actually engage also youth in Southeast Asia. So I'm very happy to have you all on board today in this Youth Talk Show. And also I'm here to learn from you and from your innovations. Thank you.
Yeah. Since you mentioned changes, when we talk about making changes, sometimes as youth, although I'm not that young anymore, this feels like such a big feat, right? So I'm going to ask to Coletta, what do you think about that? How did you come to creating this semi-calcite passive brick? And is there any particular thing that you noticed and would like to change with your innovation?
Oh, okay. I really love this question when people asking about change. One thing is relatively important, and the thing is really highlight the way how innovation important to our society as well as our progress as a humanity. Is if you're using a dental practices back in 1800s, you probably die by today's standard. That's the reality of how the innovation is relatively important and how to make a new way. And especially when we come to developing a brick, literally a brick is very important because people asking us, what is important about your bricks? Because a brick is a century-old innovation. It's start using from the early state of civilization, but what make it different from like that brick that start from the very first day of humanity? Because our brick not addressing the same challenge the brick built before. We're not facing the same challenge we're facing with Roman Empire or Khmer Empire or Siam Empire. The only thing that we're facing right now in the challenge that we have to develop our brick that need to bring the innovation into this step, because we're facing the challenge of energy efficiency. Right now, if you ask every home, every building in Southeast Asia, you ask them about heat wave, urban heat islands. These kind of challenges about how we're gonna cool our home is the challenge. And if you want just to change a 1 degree Celsius in the building or in the very room that you live in right now, listening to this video, you need an energy to do that. So when the energy price is projected to increase, we have to think away how we need to rely less on the energy part. So that's why a passive building come into the play. And that's why we're developing a brick to addressing this particular challenge in particular part of this history. This is why we need this kind of innovation that addressing the challenge, that not just addressing the same challenge by the other brick before, addressing the innovation that it needed to progress into the future. This is the part that we putting energy efficiency, circular economy, and sustainable practice into that area in order to achieve the goal that we planned to achieve.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Coletta. How about you, Yulia? What made you interested in working with peatlands?
Yeah, Quincy. So I think the peatlands or wetlands were the place actually where the lands meet the water bodies or the sea. I think it's very interesting, and I have at least 3 reasons why the ocean / the coastal area are very critical component of the earth, and it requires a very significant attention, because I think the current practices of aquaculture and resorts that happening on the coastal requires some shift from this business as usual towards more sustainable practices. First, because the coastal and the ocean acts like a huge carbon sinks. The phytoplanktons, coral reef, and other marine species also absorb carbon, while ocean itself is the carbon sink in its depth. So it locks carbon in the solid form from the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We try to capture it and locks it underground. And second, because the excess nutrients such as nitrogen and also phosphorus from the fertilizer and wastewater from our discharge as well, it are wasted to the ocean, leading to eutrophications and also algal blooms. Therefore, capturing these nutrients runoff in the buffer zone, or what I call as a mangrove belts, are very necessary to preserve the water quality in the ocean as well, and also to capture phosphorus and nitrogen, as we are aware that phosphorus right now is one of the critical raw materials. And lastly, mangroves and other species actually acts like a natural barriers that helps to protect the coastal communities from some impacts such as waves, tsunami, and erosions. And its strong and deep roots can reduce the forces of incoming waves, therefore stabilizing the coastal sediments. So yeah, I'm very happy to work with peatlands and wetlands because of those benefits.
That's very awesome. Yep, Katrina, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to really congratulate our two winners with us today, because indeed what you are doing is really contributing to the to the Paris Agreement on climate change. I mean, both circular economy and also creating natural habitat and also protection, let's say natural protection with the peatlands, with the mangrove. And Europe actually is very advanced in a sense. In the European Green Deal, we have legislation that actually EU committed in this legislation to be the first ever climate neutral continent already by 2050. And this definitely includes promoting clean energy, among others. And also we committed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% already by 2030. So this is, I really see, you as real innovators to also contribute to the climate goals of your particular countries and of Southeast Asia. So it's really encouraging, and I would like to congratulate you one more time, and also be happy that you are part of our competition and you are the winners with us today. So congratulations once more.
Thank you, Katrina. This is getting more and more exciting, you guys. Although I have so many questions, but I'm sure the audience have so many questions as well. So guys, please, from wherever you are, if you would like to ask one of our speakers some questions, if you want to ask Kalatat, if you want to ask Yulia with your question, please do so. You can drop your questions on the Q&A section, all right? And we would also like to hear about your innovation, right, Katrina?
For sure. If you have any other innovation you would like to share with us, please do. I mean, you have the platform now. A whole of Southeast Asia is covered. And Europe is listening. It's so important.
Okay, so Katrina, I'm sure you have something more to say about the EU, I guess.
I mean, I would not like to repeat myself, but in a sense, what you have already heard from the EU ambassador, youth is really one of the policymakers, let's say. I would even say it like that. We really are engaging youth in Europe, for example, and this is also something we would like to do in Southeast Asia, to empower young people, to engage them into the policy making, because you are living the challenges you are living, you understand your societies better. I mean, I didn't grow up in Southeast Asia, so you can see in your community, in your family, in your city, I mean, what are the challenges and what is the city you want to live in, for example. So I believe also I'm super impressed by the bricks, because indeed this is the beginning of the history, right? To build a house, or so now you can build a house from bricks made of things we don't need anymore. So it's absolutely impressive. So this is exactly what we would like to see, the youth engaging, the youth.
Hello, Katrina? Can everyone hear Katrina, or is it just me?
I cannot hear her as well.
Okay,
I can hear
so
her.
it's a technical issue then.
Okay.
Katrina, I guess you're breaking. Oh, okay, so you're off the line. All right. While we wait, let's jump into the Q&A section, shall we? Okay, I'm gonna read some question from the audience. There's one question from Zairin Adam Abdul Aziz. Hi, Zairin. So the question is, how do you, as a young social entrepreneur, continue your work financially, even though our work is impactful to society? Sometimes young innovators face challenges in terms of sustaining their companies or projects. Okay, I think this question can be answered by Kalatat and also Yulia. So who wants to go first?
I think I can do that, definitely. I think
Yeah.
financial is probably one of the major concerns if you want to start initiative and also company that you want to tackle problem, especially you want to be an impact-based company. There is some area that's something to overlook. So lucky enough, my company, my invention got funding. So we win a lot of competition. So we have a lot of resources to finance ourselves from the starting until the process of we getting to the point we are today. So lucky enough, I never have to bootstrapping. So someone who not familiar with the term bootstrapping, we're using with a company that have to using their self funding in the early stage to the point that they can finance themselves from other sources. So lucky we're not bootstrapping. All the investment, all the funding that we have received come from a several party that we have worked with or competition. So that area, then we have a capacity to finance ourselves from the research and development, and then proceed to the operating the business. So if you want to get finances, there's a several area that you can go to, depends on the risks that you want to say. There are probably a lot of things to say in this area, but I would say if you are youth, you are very young, you are very energetic, I think it's a good option to overlook competition first, because you want to get a non-dilutive funding, so someone not own part of your company or part of your initiative, so you still have a fully control of the operation. So that area that I would suggest to go first, go to competition, go to award, and after that, if nothing's to get investment from. Now, there is a concern part because your idea might not be the practical enough to be implemented. I think this is something that happen very often because a lot of company, a lot of ideas that come from initiative, a lot of ideas that become a company, sometimes might not think it through. Because there's some area that you have to think. I think I know one company from Vietnam. So they're developing, they're using a lotus root to turn into a mask for medical use. So sound very novel, sound very delightful. Okay, so it's really innovative. You're changing biodegradable waste into a medical use great equipment. Sound good enough. But at the very same time, I think I have raised concern to them before, and the company now is no longer operating because the idea is impractical. Because the question is, why do you want to change a biodegradable waste that dissolves itself in 90 days into a medical hazard waste? That is the question that you have to ask your idea as well, because people are going to challenge your idea, and if you cannot protect them, the idea might not be practical. So right now we have a hazard waste that come from a biodegradable source of waste. So that is something that you want to do with your idea. Of course, your idea needs to be nowhere, but have to be think it through. Then it's the likeliness to get finance is more likely to happen if you can answer all the question that people might challenge your concept or your ideas. And that's probably very, very important part before you get finance.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Kalatat. Katrina, you're back. Hi.
Yeah, I don't know. We have an unstable connection in the office of the EU delegation. I'm sorry for that, but I do have a. Can you hear me? I hope now. I do have a question for Julia. Maybe I would skip one. Maybe Quincy can take it after.
Yes.
So, would the Carbon Bureau? So it's a question from Ravuan Utanes. And the question is, would the Carbon Bureau expand its project to the Philippines? Because the Philippines is one of many countries who are prone to floods, typhoons, and several communities here in Philippines are coastline communities. So already you have a here initiative to expand your project, Julia. Maybe you can give some advice to the colleagues in Philippines, to the youth in Philippines. How you would suggest them to do maybe something similar or expand your project. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Yes, very love to to expand our operation in Philippines and worldwide as well, because actually our projects are very scalable and duplicable. Our founder are actually coming from Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, and also Mexico. But 3 of them are currently finishing their masters as well. Therefore, yeah, we very love to join, like partnering up with other nations and bluing other nations as well, because our campaign are bluing the earth. Currently, we are bluing Indonesia, not greening, but bluing Indonesia. But very love to expand to Philippines, India, Malaysia, and beyond as well, Thailand, because not only actually like not on our solutions are not only limited to tropical areas, but also to Europe, because Europe has kelp and other species of seaweed. So yeah, very love to join or expand, having collaboration with Philippines colleagues as well.
Thank you for the answer, Yulia. All right. Let's proceed to the next question we got here from Iwani Takia. Hi, Iwani Takia. This one is for Kolatat. So, Kolatat, how did you start prototyping, and how did your earlier prototypes look like?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Prototyping is quite literally a very important part before you presenting your work, because now the idea is changing into the practical product, because we start prototype, we have a minimum viable product before. So I would say our prototyping is probably look the same with how it look like now, but the only thing that changes the industrialization process, because the first process we're using a molding process, so we're using a very physical, very labor intensive work to having the first physical prototype. So we're working with a mechanical to developing a mold, and then we sourcing materials and try other material that we can say, okay, how it's going to form the bricks. So because we're using a thermal brick, there are going to be some the chemical reaction to heating the brick process as well. So it's really interesting seeing that process in practices. But after the prototyping process is done, we have the mold, and now we have to start working with the machinery. So how we're going to turn a mold into a mass industrial process of this kind of machine. So that's why we start reaching out to, so we have a joint venture, we have a joint partnership in Thailand with a machine manufacturer that, happy to help us changing this mold into a machinery. So I think that's quite relatively interesting pivotal part, because before we're using a brick molding process, we can produce 73 tons a year from the calculation part. So it's very little. It cannot even supply a single house development. So what the goal we want to increase is, before we changing into the machinery-based manufacturing, now the capacity change from 73 tons a year into a 2,000 tons a year. So now we can supply a major development. And right now we're finalizing the prototyping with the machinery, not in the molding process anymore. So I think, like, of course, some product is not gonna might change it, but it's gonna change the process that make it more efficient, more effective. So that is the goal that we have right now, to changing this kind of brick process, handmade, one by one, labor intensive, into more automated and also more industrialized scale, to addressing this challenge in a wider and larger scale in Thailand.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you, Kolatat. I have one question though for Yulia. What are the challenges that you actually face in starting the Carbon Biru initiative, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Thank you, Quincy. I have a lot of challenges actually. So planting trees are easy. I think everyone can do that. You just need to plant trees, right? But building the forest is not. It's very difficult, because in Carbon Biru, we really measure and we take our progress and impacts really seriously. So we track growth and sending reports annually to our donors. So this is your trees, this is the photos, and this is the proof. However, I think the number one main challenges of Carbon Biru is mostly related to land ownership this far, because we've been planting on government's land and also someone else's land. Therefore, those land are not our own, and we have received many excuses, such as from coastal flood, then like some pest infection or something. Therefore, our trees are gone, and we need to replant it in somewhere else. Therefore, I think land is power at the end. And therefore, we try to adapt and evolve our approaches, and we create a new campaign. It's called Forever Forest. So forests that last forever. And we will convert this, we found a land, we will convert the abandoned land, aquaculture pond, into silvofishery. Silvofishery is a practice that coupled mangrove forests with aquaculture. So you can put crabs, fish, mussels, even shrimp. And we will started to plant this year after getting funding as well from Korea. And we will put the crab seedlings on year 6, and then we will give back to the local society. So yeah, I think land ownership is not merely a transaction, but it's a declaration and a commitment that shows our stewardship and extend the forest beyond our lifetime. So after we purchase the land and we plant mangrove there, I can guarantee after 30 years or 100 years, the forest is still there. So yeah, I think planting trees are easy, but creating a forest is the most challenging part. Yeah.
Okay. Julia, you might want to keep your mic on because there's a question from the audience. Hold on. Okay, got it. So this one
I have some
comes from...
questions too.
Oh, okay, you can go first, Katrina.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to ask actually both speakers a question. It's also for Julia and also for Kolatat. And it's a question from Jansen Mikach Fajardo, if I am pronouncing it well. And the question is about if they face any political barriers to implement your innovations, and also, you know, all your efforts, if you lack policies that would help you to be like enabling mechanisms. And so practically, what is the framework of maybe your governments as well, and if there are any barriers that you face in the policies of your country, and what would you suggest as the best way to overcome them? I mean, Julia just mentioned, for example, this local problem with the local communities, or with the fact that the trees are planted and then they disappear. So is there do you have an answer for this question? It's quite a broad one, but I think very important.
I think it is important as well, definitely. So maybe I can start this one first. So when you're talking about political barriers, I think the question that I want to ask back to someone asking this question first is what industry you position yourself in, because I think like all the industry have their own challenge of political barriers. But when it comes to construction, it's come to liability. So I put to simple term, when it comes to liability in construction, is who responsible when something goes wrong. I think it's the simplest term that we're talking about liability in construction industry. So if the building falls down, who's going to be responsible for the fault? It's going to be architecture who decide the building. It's the energy who approve it. It's the manufacturer of the material that manufacturing our brick, or us who developing these bricks. So I think this is the question that definitely going to come when it comes to liability and the political barrier as well. Because I think in ASEAN as well as in Europe, there is a certain challenges. So I think in Europe, we have EBA, so embodiment of the building materials. So it's a new policy that come in early 2020, and there's mention about like how you're gonna be able to disintegrate the resources in the material into a construction building. For example, like for advanced composite material, is not going to be sustainable. For example, like solar cell, it's really difficult to disintegrate solar cell into other material after the completion of that. So if you recycle material like solar cell, it's not likely you get anything back. But imagine you recycle a wooden door, the likeliness you're going to get the material back is more, the higher. So that is the political barrier that's going to come change very oftenly, especially in construction, because construction is carbon intensive industry, first thing first. And then the second thing is the policy change over time. So there are going to be a new challenges, a new policy that we need to follow up, but it's something that's relatively important if you have to recognizing the key direction, what the direction is heading to. Right now we're heading to the net zero. We're heading to 2050 Paris Agreement goal. But at the very same time, in this direction we're going toward, there's going to be a milestone to achieve. For example, in Europe, it's the Energy Performance Certificate, EPC. You need to reach a certain point of energy in terms of building to make, then you cannot sell a building if you're not meeting the energy standard. That is the direction that we're going to go through, and it's going to update every several years. So that is something you need to follow up yourself, especially in your industry. So recognizing this kind of key pivotal regulation and regulatory framework is going to help you go ahead, especially follow with this change, going to help you, position yourself better and addressing the challenge that really needed at the time that you want to building your innovation.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, I can add to Kolatat as well. Yeah, may I add?
Please.
So yeah,
Yes.
I agree with Kolatat. Like, you need to follow up all the regulations and policies, and actually, like, your solutions can address the other company that face another challenges. For example, like mine, if in Indonesia, if you extract a certain amount of groundwater per cubic meter, then you need to plant trees this amount. So it's well regulated. So in Carbon Bureau, I try to address those challenges by complying to a certain policy by extracting groundwater. Then I think now the windows of opportunity are now very open. Many countries have adopted this circular economy framework and policy guidelines. For example, in Indonesia, in my country, in 2030, the flexible single-use asset are prohibited. So I believe right now you can try to tackle the solutions as well. So by keeping up and following up to the policies, you can offering solutions by tackling sustainability as well as economical. Because I believe if you try to find a sustainable business model, profits, sustainability, and politics are now integrated into one solution. So yeah, just keeping up, try to follow up and keep updated.
Yeah, just don't miss out.
Appreciate your optimism. Appreciate your optimism for the future of Southeast Asia. I hope so. I hope that the policies will always help you to get things done in the sustainable way. I really do. Quincy,
Okay.
maybe you would like to ask.
Yeah, I'm going to read another question. This one is coming in from Natalie I'm sorry if I pronounce it incorrectly. Okay, so this question is for Yulia. What were some of the necessary negotiation you had to have with local stakeholders to be able to implement your mangrove initiative?
Yeah, I think if you want to build the forest, you need to bring the whole village. Otherwise, it's just a temporary solution. Because usually, like, the local fishermen try to, how to say, like, parking their ships. So they try to chop down trees and they try to utilize the biomass for charcoal replacement. So yeah, I think the number one thing for local engagement is try to educate them, although it's very difficult because currently mangroves and other species are regarded as weak, blocking the view of the beautiful ocean. Then it's just like weed, so they try to chop it away. But what I suggest is I want to share that on year 6, if they succeeded, then you can start to cultivate and harvesting crabs. So yeah, I think those are the solution. Economical benefits are the number one points to engage with the locals. Otherwise, you just plant trees, then it will go away. So I think providing economical benefits is the main key. Without economical benefits, a sustainable solution will go to waste.
Yeah, agree. Okay, we are moving on to the next question. It's coming from Siti Suba. Hi, Siti Suba. So the question is for both speakers, for Kolatat and also for Yulia. How do you guys overcome personal problems that you have encountered while starting off and building, of course, founders and creators, but they are also humans? How do you guys balance the stresses of the initiatives while there is also stresses to them, I think it's to you both as individuals. And how do you not lose focus or strength or faith in your work? That's a really good question. Maybe Colata, you want to start first?
Well, I think this is a sad truth about doing anything. It's not about being a youth speaker, not about being a youth creator anymore. It's about like just personal individual problems. So I think having a good team would solve that problem literally. So I think like you have to have a very good strong foundation team, especially in the area of design, engineering, and business. That is something I would suggest to have. You have a good team. So I would say losing faith, burnout, or giving up on your work is relatively normal in the industry. People come and go. The turnover is not high. The tenure is not relatively high. So the area that you want to focus is, how you're going to sustain yourself over time. So of course, they're going to be challenged, especially a certain part of the time. If you're working on project, you're working on conferences. But the important part is that not losing that, you have to have a reward over time. So you need to win big first. That's probably my recommendation to anyone. You have to win big first. You remember that feelings that you win for the very first time. You're keeping that feeling with you. I know sometimes it's not going to be a win for you for because it's a startup company. Sometimes it's going to be a month, full with conference, full with competition, full with clients. But it's going to be several months that you might face that they're going to be nothing at all. You're going to sit around and there's nothing that you can do. But only thing that you can do is you have to go back and think like, what's wrong with that? Because it's not going to happen. Because, for example, if I have nothing happen this month, no conference, no client, no project, no award, I probably have to think like, okay, what I have done in the past, like in the past few months, what have happened that make this month not productive as other month. So you have to overlook the documentation process. Don't overlook the documentation process. Try to remember what happened to you before. So if something goes wrong, you can go back and you say, okay, this part, it go wrong, this part, so you can fix that. I think that's how my addressing this kind of challenge to my personal individual challenge that, keeping us have believe in my work. Document your work. And, if thing goes wrong, you have something to go back to check.
That's a very nice point. Yulia, how about you?
Yeah, I truly agree with Kolatat. I think everyone here are youth, around 20-ish, just graduating. Then you have this idealism of starting that is perfect and starting that is something you wait until something is perfect, then you kick off. But for me, work is work. Nothing special about working. So consistency is the key. Like you do not need to wait for motivation, inspiration to come up. You just need to work. There's nothing special about working. You need to work every day, consistently and discipline, because I think discipline will keep you moving forward. Although you have a low motivation or high motivation, you need to keep on going.
Yeah.
What an encouraging words. I will maybe ask some question too, if you can hear me now.
Sure.
And I would like to combine two questions. Actually, they are now for Julia. And one is from Giselle Janitra, if I read it correctly. And she has been asking that Julia has chosen mangrove as the tree of her choice. But is there other trees that you could consider, your company could consider in other landscapes? And then I have one more question also for Julia, and this one is from Basilah Fakhri from Brunei. And she's really interested about Julia's initiative to protect the mangrove. And she says that in Brunei, we have less emphasized on conserving the mangrove and such environmental projects, and they have built a lot of resorts and other tourism activities on the mangrove habitat. And that's why she would like to ask if Julia could share any advice for the youth on how they could start the initiative or local project, even in a small scale, to protect and conserve the mangrove habitat also in Brunei. So I found these questions very interesting, and they're both to Julia. So I combined the two, if I may. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Katrina. Thank you, Giselle and Basilah. I think in mangroves, seaweed and seagrasses are very well researched. You can find how many carbons it has sequestered compared to other species inland. But currently, I try to find native species because I try to check on the satellite as well from the Google Earth. Then I try to compare 2004 to 2024 and try to find which one is a man-made forest versus the natural forest. Therefore, for me, I try to introduce native species, native trees or native grasses rather than mangrove. If that's actually like an alien trees. So yeah, I think the opportunity is now open. I try to find a native species, and I have found several. So don't try to focus only on one species, but other species are also lucrative and also have a potential. And relating to Basilah question about advice to Brunei project, I think you can start researching, then try to engage with the community or try to, how to say, like just simply creating an Instagram setting up, then find a volunteers, then you can have a discussion how you can start this local initiative. But I'm glad to help. Like you can just reach me out, then I can share some materials and some research.
Yeah, I can add on a little bit. Feasibility research is relatively important to propose the project. Financially feasible, environmentally feasible, policy feasible. You have to make sure this kind of thing is possible before you're starting any projects at all time, because it's information-oriented industry, especially if you want to solve the environmental impact. And so that is something to start with. A feasibility research is going to help a lot.
Really agree.
Thank you, guys.
I second that.
Okay, thank you for everyone who have dropped your questions on the Q&A section. Katrina, Kolata, and Yulia, are you guys ready for some game?
Okay,
Yeah, we
interested.
do have a game. Okay, so we are going to play Kahoot. Has everyone heard Kahoot before? Yeah? Okay. So I'm gonna need everyone.
I might need some explanations. I don't know it.
So basically,
but I will get
Katrina,
inspired by the younger people than me.
So you can scan the QR code that is showing on the screen right now. Can you see it? So you can join. You can join as a, well, actually we cannot join because we are panelists, right? But the audience can join. Right. They will have to scan. They will have to scan in order to get a username. See? There's Lucky Crane logging in, Rapid Condor, Blue Griffin. Hello, everyone. So we will have all of the audience to join to play this game. We will have like around 10 questions, and they will have to choose the answers that they think they're right, that they think the answers are right. Basically, that's it. And one lucky winner will get an awesome hampers from EU in ASEAN. So guys, please join this game. We're gonna be having so much fun. All right? While us here, me, Katrina, Kolatat, and also Yulia, I think we can read the questions.
We can enjoy that. We can enjoy people answering
that. Let's enjoy it our own way, right? Since we cannot answer the question and get the prize, so let's just read the question. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Let's see. Congratulations to no one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Second question, Kolata, do you want to read this?
And let me see. So the World Creative and Innovation Day is designed to raise awareness for the creativity and innovation in human development. That's true or false?
All right. So the answer is it's true. Okay. Third question, Yulia, you want to read this?
Yeah. So which product from Hourn technology is used for sustainable construction? Triangle, semi-calcite passive brick, square, reusable brick, clean tech brick, and plastic recycled brick. Wow, congratulations for Clever Gecko.
Clever Gecko is the top scorer at the moment. Katrina, would you please read the next question, Katrina?
Yes, the name carbon biru refers to carbons that are stored in which ecosystem?
Come on, guys. I know you know the answer.
And there is desert, forest, peatlands, woodland. It's easy. This one I can answer.
Okay, let's see who tops the chart now. Oh, okay. Next question. I will be reading it. 360 Energy has been working on renewable energy by utilizing one of the following elements. Which element is it? Water, fire, air, or plants? Choose one, guys. Let's go. Okay, Kolata, do you want to read the next question?
Yeah, definitely. The European Green Deal is the EU commitment to the first climate net neutral continent by 2050. Is that true or false?
That's easy. I have given the answer before. You have listened. Good.
Nice. Clever Gecko is the first one. Okay, Yulia, you want to read the next question?
Yeah, of course. So when is the Europe Day celebrated? First, 15th of May, 21st May, 9th of May, or 7th of May? It's gonna be happening in May.
Yeah. No other month. Woohoo! Nice,
Great.
everyone. Is it Clever Gecko again? Ooh, nice. Katrina, please read the next question.
How many EU member states are there? 25, 26, 27, 28. It's not so easy, but I hope we will have some winner there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice. Ooh, Clever Gecko, you are doing well. All right. How many official languages does the EU have, everyone? 22, 23, 24, or 25? And the answer is 24. All right. Okay, Katrina, please. You can read the last question.
How many golden stars make up the circle of the European Union flag? So 12, 11, 10, or 9. I know this one.
And the answer is... Okay. That will be all. Third place, Classy O. First runner-up, Groovy Crane. And the first one is... Clever Gecko. Just like your name, you're very clever. Thank you, everyone. Woohoo! Thank you to all of the winners. Thank you for helping me reading out the questions, Katrina, Kolatat, and Yulia. Okay, so I guess we can circle back to the beginning for real quick. All of our speakers today, Kolatat and Yulia, they are the winners of the EU Youth Sustainable Project Competition. Katrina, I do have a question for you. Is this one of the EU's way to engage with youth? And is there anything else that perhaps you can share with us today?
Sure, I can. So first of all, thank you all for being with us today. And it has been really, I have learned something too. I mean, I'm really impressed, I must say. And the EU, as I said, youth is at the very center of our policy making right now. And in 2022, so 2 years ago, the EU introduced the first ever Youth Action Plan, which is the first policy framework for strategic partnership with young people around the world. And within this framework, we aim to connect, engage, and empower youth. This Youth Sustainable Project Competition that you have participated is one of the initiatives. But we also have the Global Gateway Initiative, and we are working under this initiative on people-to-people connectivity. And as also Ambassador mentioned earlier, there is the Erasmus Mundus program, and Julia is one of our alumni. So congratulations also, because this is a big achievement. And we also have the new EU scope for higher education. And this is a new project that will be launched in June and will support the student mobility within ASEAN. And we are also in the final stages to select the first group of youth sounding board, which will be a group of young people that we will ask to provide comments on the policies that the EU is implementing globally. So we will have this youth sounding board for the Southeast Asia for ASEAN. So this is very exciting indeed.
Yeah. And I never realized,
yeah.
I never realized, Katrina, that the opportunities are that many. So how can we not be under the radar and be updated of all this, opportunities from the EU in ASEAN, Katrina?
So I think the group we have here hopefully already is connecting with us and follow the EU in ASEAN social media channels. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, and also YouTube. And I would suggest adding our accounts to your favorites or to subscribe to make sure that you don't miss out, because we do many fun campaigns, we do have competitions, we do have events that youth can participate from the Southeast Asia overall. And it's really important for us that we have as many of you on board so that we can indeed do things that are of interest to you in Southeast Asia region. Thank you.
So there you go, guys. All social media channels under one username. It's EU in ASEAN. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also follow, all right? So we are at the closing of this session already. Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you so much, Kolatat, and also Yulia, for such a super fun 1.5 hours. Let's give ourselves a round of applause, you guys. You are so amazing.
Okay, so can I add on a little bit about the audiences that come to the talk show today? I think it's really interesting about the process that every company, every project going through. I believe that all of you right now probably working on something really impactful, really insightful, and right now creating a tangible and observable impact to all of us. And you're addressing the challenge might be in your community, your city, or your country, or wider world. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to pursuing that, keep on going, pushing all of that. And if you're concerned about financing, just email me. I'll probably drop an email into the group, and you can contact me, because my company also investing in early stage technology and startup as well. So I think it would be interested to hear more ideas, hear more challenges that you want to address, the problem solver in the country. So definitely would be interested to talk and carry on the chat with the rest. This is a platform that we bringing youth innovator, young innovator, and also policy maker, and also organization like EU in ASEAN. So it's definitely an opportunity to bring everyone closer, another step, one by one. Definitely.
Thank you, Kolata. Thank you. Yulia, do you have any closing statement for we all here?
Yeah, I think to call out, I have read many of the questions and tried to answer it on the Q&A chats. I think funding is one of the issues that everyone is facing, but I believe that the opportunity is not there. There are many grants and many competitions that provide funds, and you can also message Colada as well for funding. So yeah, I think funding is actually not an issue, but you need to strategically break down your next steps into a doable and feasible funding. So don't try to get a huge lump sum, but to try to break it down into smaller amounts, into smaller goals. Then you can start to kick off. And last word, again, I think everyone who have the idea, currently ideas, know-how, how to try to scale a city, knowledge are cheap. Like it's just one click away from the internet. But those who implement the ideas are the ones that truly worth something. So if you have an idea, try to implement it. Just don't keep it on your own, because ideas are cheap, but those who implement it are the one who truly matters. Yeah, that's all for me. And I'm looking forward for your ideas. And next year, I'm gonna waiting for you to be the next speakers on the youth talk on EU on ASEAN. Yeah.
Woohoo! Amen. So I saw a question from one of our audience. They were asking for your Instagram and also Kolata's Instagram. So maybe you can type it down in the comment section, yes?
Definitely.
So they can follow you guys and be connected through the social media. Once again, thank you so much, Kolata. Thank you so much, Yulia. Katrina, also, thank you so much for standing by my side for the whole session.
Well, if I may still a very, very final word before everyone disappears. I am super impressed, and we had almost 230 speakers at participants at the peak of this event. And I really hope that this has been also a platform, as you see already Instagram, to be shared, so platform to connect young people within ASEAN and also with the EU. And I really encourage you one more time to don't forget to follow our media, social media, EU in ASEAN, and also to follow our ambassador, Sujiro Sim, who is super active. And you will, like this, you don't miss any of our super cool events. And I am very happy to be here with you today, and I hope you really enjoyed it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. Don't forget to follow everyone at EU in ASEAN, all right? And lastly, I would also like to thank Ambassador Sujiro Sim for sharing his opening remarks at the very beginning of the show. And of course, to all of you guys from wherever you are, all the participants, thank you so much for joining the 10th EU-ASEAN Youth Talk Show. My name is Quincy, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next event. Bye-bye.
Bye.